All right, thank you so much for staying with us. Nsarawa State Governor Mr. Abdullahi Sule has unveiled the State Investment Summit, expressed hope that it would bring more economic opportunities to the people of the state. The governor said that for the past 7 years, his administration had pursued an ambitious reform program aimed at strengthening the state institutional foundations, improving the ease of doing business, and unlocking investment opportunities. But in his own remarks, the managing director of the Nsarawa State Investment Development Agency, NIDA, Mr. Ibrahim Abdullahi, he said that from 2022 to 2024, the agency had attracted $1.8 billion in investment, $1.3 million in technical assistance, while in 2025, Nsarawa State attracted $1 billion in investment. He further explained that out of the $1 billion in investment, $505 million has been actualized. Well, joining me live from our Abuja studios, he's the managing director of the Nsarawa State Investment Development Agency, NIDA, Barrister Ibrahim Abdullahi. Thank you so much. It's good to see you on the program this afternoon.
Thank you, Tolu. Thanks for having me this afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, let's start with the bigger picture. What has been driving investment vision for Nsarawa State over the past 7 years, and how has that vision shaped the state's economic direction?
It's a clear vision backed by political will. When in 2019, Governor Abdullahi Sule came with the message of the Nsarawa Economic Development Strategy. And the Nsarawa Economic Development Strategy was anchored on the vision to improve private sector participation in the state, strengthen our institutional foundation, unlock investment opportunities, and usher in a new era of shared prosperity for our people. At the heart of driving this vision is the need to have some centers of excellence that will drive the implementation. And that is where we come in as the state's one-stop investment center. So NIDA has been spearheading the delivery of the Nsarawa Economic Development Strategy. It's the first time since the creation of Nsarawa State that we've had a coherent policy action backed by a strong political will. And part of what we've been driving, as I've said earlier, is system strengthening and holding of investors, unlocking new opportunities, and working to also sustain this pathway for the state. We've always said that as a subnational, we hold the key to propel Nigeria's economic growth. We're closer to the people, we live with the people, and as you know, developments don't happen in Abuja, they happen around the corners of Nigeria.
Indeed, in a highly competitive environment. Now, how has your agency, NIDA, positioned Nsarawa State as an attractive and viable destination for investors?
One is that we've set up NIDA to perform 4 broad functions. One, to attract investment and handhold investors coming into the state. The second is to do investment management ourselves. That is looking at opportunities for profitability and commercial viability for the state. The third is on unblocking barriers to entry. So we work every day to ensure that we remove all the constraints and barriers to doing business in Nsarawa State. And the fourth is that we act as the delivery unit, spearheading the delivery and implementation of the Nsarawa Economic Development Strategy. So we're set up as a one-stop shop, a group of very young people that are passionate and have the requisite skills to drive and attract investment into Nsarawa State. We're driven by that vision and the desire to see that the fortunes of Nsarawa State is turned around.
Well, let me ask you that what practical reforms or policy changes have been introduced to make doing business easier in this state? Because that's key, and also to know how investors are feeling or how they are feeling the impact.
Okay, so one of the major things we've done is to make access to government services very democratic and very transparent. We've streamlined the procedures for acquiring permits, whether it's construction permits, whether it's getting your land title or getting your business premises registration. We have digitized this interface. So from the comfort of your homes and your offices, you can have access to these services. Moreover, there's also been an executive order mandating all MDAs to ensure that all government services have been published. So it will no longer be a secret what a government agency charges for a particular service. Every government agency is mandated to publish this service and make it known to the public. We've also consolidated demand notices for taxes so that taxpayers don't get multiple demand notices from a single agency. So that has been streamlined. We've also introduced small claims courts to make it easy for quick disposition of commercial disputes, especially commercial disputes that are very small in nature in terms of the amount of claims. We have also abolished the charges for rights of way as far as fiber optics technology is concerned in Nsarawa State. We've strengthened institutions. We have also built a technical and vocational institute to ensure that when businesses come into Nsarawa State, they also have readily available skilled workforce that will form their own workforce to add value to their businesses.
Looking back now, what would you describe as the most significant investment milestones recorded so far? Well, I reeled some figures in my introduction, but I'd like you to share more any figures or indicators that reflects this growth.
One of the most significant investments in the state over these years, I would say, has been the two investments in lithium mining and processing. You know, before these investments, what we have is a situation where mining companies come into Nsarawa State, get their license from federal government, and all they do is to take the minerals, raw minerals, out of the state and out of Nigeria with little or no value addition. And it is in value addition that the communities get empowered, young people get employed, and both the state government and the federal government derive the appropriate revenues due to them. So the investment by Avatar for the 3 million annual tons capacity of lithium processing, and subsequently the investment by Ganfeng, now called the Diamond New Energy, of a 6 million annual tons capacity of lithium processing are actually game-changing. The Ganfeng and Diamond New Energy lithium processing is not only the largest in Nsarawa and Nigeria, it is the largest lithium processing capability in West Africa. And I think that that's a very huge milestone, even as we look at Nigeria's ambitious plan for energy transition, and lithium is a very, very critical resource to propel that ambition. Investment in housing and building organized and new clusters of living for our people is also a significant one. It's significant because it's a joint venture development with Nsarawa State government and the private sector, But more importantly, we've had strategic investments from Shelter Afrique and InfraCredit, supporting our ambition to increase housing construction to bridge the housing deficit in the country. So these are quite significant milestone investments that have happened in Nsarawa State.
Sounds good. Investor confidence is critical. Now, how are you building trust and ensuring that investors not only come, but stay and expand?
So in Nsarawa State, we put our money where our mouth is. As I've said earlier, we've put a great deal of emphasis in building strong institutions, because it is strong institutions that can drive and sustain reforms. NIDA is one key example of such institutions, and there are several other institutions across Nsarawa State that remain the pillars and the pivots for our transformative journey. So we have NIDA as a ready one-stop shop that continues to engage investors, but most importantly, we also have a very active community engagement initiatives. Our traditional rulers and traditional institutions are the backbone of these investments, because these investments happen in communities where traditional rulers pledge significant support. So we have government institutions, we have traditional institutions as well supporting these investments. But more importantly, Tolu, over these years, the government, led by His Excellency Governor Abdullahi Sule, have also exhibited a great deal of political will. Now that we're going into a transition period, that is being exhibited and shared, and the whole political class of Nsarawa State are being carried along. At the summit next week, there's going to be a Lafayette Declaration, and that Lafayette Declaration is around building political consensus on what the growth trajectory of Nsarawa State will be. Whoever comes into power as the governor of Nsarawa State after Governor Abdullahi Sule will sustain these investments, will continue our investment drive, will build upon the successes achieved over the past 7 to 8 years. So we were building institutions, we're carrying communities along, we're also building very strong political consensus, which are really, really, really integral to any sustainability plans that we have as a state and as a people. So to put it simply, we have built a consensus around the nook and crannies of Nsarawa State. Everyone believes and everyone is in strong support that come rain, come shine, Nsarawa State will be open for business.
Nsarawa is often compared to more established commercial hubs. Now, what would you say gives the state a unique competitive advantage?
Well, there are a couple of things that make Nsarawa State very special and indeed the most strategic place to do business. One is the sheer advantage of geography. By sheer advantage of geography, Nsarawa State is located right in the middle of the country. We also share the closest proximity to Abuja, the capital of Nigeria, as you know. So we are a gateway to both the northeast, the southeast, the other parts of the north central, and the northwest. So for commerce, for logistics, Nsarawa State stands ahead of a lot of other states just by sheer advantage of geography. The other advantage is advantage of natural resource. Nsarawa State is endowed with a very fertile soil for agriculture. There's hardly any crop that you cannot cultivate in high commercial quantities in Nsarawa State. Some of the biggest producers of commodities actually have large-scale production in Nsarawa. If you talk about the Olams of the world, the Dangotes of the world, they're all domiciled in Nsarawa, and more of these big players keep coming into the state. Nsarawa State is also home of solid minerals. We have a number of viable, commercially competitive minerals in commercial quantities in Nsarawa State. We also have a very skilled workforce, a teeming youth population, but most importantly also we enjoy a great deal of peace and a very collaborative coexistence amongst different tribes and ethnic groups that are in Nsarawa State. So we're really the place to do business in Nsarawa State. And we've seen this shift from 2019 to date. The dramatic progress recorded thanks to the able leadership of Governor Abdullahi Sule. Nsarawa State is now one of the top most competitive states to do business in Nigeria.
We're looking ahead now. What is the long-term investment vision for Nsarawa beyond 2026? And of course, what should investors expect in this next phase of growth, even at the summit and after the summit?
Well, the vision is to make Nsarawa State truly competitive ahead of its peers in Nigeria. And we will do this by building on the successes already recorded. We want Nsarawa State to be a hub for manufacturing, given our proximity. We want Nsarawa State to be truly a hub for solid minerals. We already want, but we want a great deal of value addition so that there's not just mining in the state, but there's also processing, and it translates into real economic impact for our people. So at the summit next week, we're going to be showcasing a progress made. We're going to showcase our plans for sustainability, and we're also going to showcase the political consensus we've built across the length and breadth of our political class, people from different political parties, all championing the cause of investment, as we believe is really the pathway for our own economic progress as a state and as a people.
It's an interesting one. So we should expect more, because when more is given, more is expected. What kind of people are you expecting? Highlight some of it as we wrap this up for the summit.
So we're expecting captains of industry from across different sectors, mining and agriculture. We're expecting people from financial services. We're expecting diplomatic corps, foreign investors, senior government officials, our peers from other states to come and learn and see firsthand the progress that we've made as a people. We're expecting a great deal of dignitaries to come to the summit next week.
Wish you all the best and hope to have you.
The Vice President is the special guest of honor.
Wow, great stuff. So I expect that after that meeting, we could have you in again, and we need to talk about the outcome. How much more investment is expected? How much more investment have you been able to put pen to paper? Just like what we have in our introduction. Mr. Ibrahim Abdullahi is the MD CEO of Nsarawa Investment and Development Agency, NIDA. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Tolu, for having me here.
All right, then. Well, away from that now, let's do a review of today's trading at the Nigerian Exchange.